entities that we will name as defendants as we file these individual cases. And you should know, to the extent the clients feel comfortable, we also intend to make these individuals available to the authorities, specifically to the FBI. And you should also know a few of them have already been spoken to by the FBI. Now, before we discuss the nature of the claims and claimants themselves, let me comment on the large volume of calls we have received since our first announcement. Even before the indictment of Sean Combs, we had received a small volume of calls and had screened a handful of cases. After the indictment of Sean Combs and the announcement that we were pursuing these claims, the floodgates opened. People who wouldn't otherwise, for a variety of reasons, are now stepping forward to make their voices heard and to pursue justice.
Y'all think he's going to be named?
But no, most of these people are scared. They fear backlash in their communities. They fear backlash in their own families. They are afraid of retaliation from the perpetrators and their associates. They are rightly afraid for their own personal safety.
Oh,
I expect that through this process, many powerful people will be exposed. Many dirty secrets will be revealed. We know what we are potentially up against. And as is always the case in situations like this, when a celebrity is involved, people can be downright mean and nasty. You would be shocked at the length fans will go, no matter the evidence to the contrary, to defend celebrities they love.
If you're just joining,
for this word fans, they're fanatics.
This is a lawyer with the class
action.
action.
Threatened multiple times on social media.
Oh.
When I agreed to pursue this, I expected as much.
You guys
this
tune
isn't
in.
my first rodeo. But
he's going to name defendants.
To have their voices heard should not be subjected to that kind of conduct.
Diddy's co-conspirators.
They should not be targeted. I want to say this, and I want to be clear about it. Although we are vetting each call as stringently as we can, I always start with a mindset that I believe victims. I believe victims because I understand the tremendous courage it takes to step forward. So if you're watching this, please hear me. If you're out there and you have been victimized, you are not alone. There is a great strength in numbers.
Carisha, he's talking to you.
You can seek redress. You can obtain justice. We can help you, and we will help you.
Somebody send this to Carisha.
That being said, as stated, we are vetting every call that we receive. We've had to turn away some. For each, we ask for corroboration. For each, we ask for the identity of witnesses. We also have collected pictures, videos, texts. We check venues. We check dates.
Ooh.
We want to corroborate that the claims being made have legitimacy and merit. We have on staff now a former detective from the Major Offenders Unit of Houston Police Department who is helping us vet each claim. We're using our common sense. We're being stringent because, as I said, these are not easy cases. They're very tough. The process is hard, and in some cases, the process is very lengthy. These cases are hard to prove. Many times, it's the victim's word against the alleged perpetrator. Each of these victims will no doubt be publicly attacked by the alleged perpetrators, and in some cases, the general public. The feckless and cowardly keyboard warriors love to attack. We know what we're up against. We did not enter this fray blindly. I wish it was my last such fray. I wish this type of behavior wasn't so pervasive. But it is what it is, so we will press on. As I said, our law firms have been retained by 120 individuals at this point.
120.
To pursue cases in civil court against Sean Diddy Combs. You should know, in this group, it is evenly divided between males and females.
Ooh,
where'd they get these males people? And 60 females.
60 men and women
joined us to pursue these claims as plaintiffs. In this group, 62% identify as African American, 30% are white, and the remainder are Hispanic or Asian. The victims are from more than 25 states. The majority are from California, New York, Georgia, and Florida.
Wow.
I want to focus on the ages of these victims. When you talk about the ages of the victims when the conduct occurred, it's shocking. Our youngest victim at the time of the occurrence was 9 years old.
Oh my
We have an
God.
individual who was 14 years old. We have one who was 15.
9, 14, and 15 years
25
old?
Of the 120 individuals who are plaintiffs in these cases were minors at the time of the acts complained of.
Oh my God.
The time frame of the acts complained of is very wide. The conduct at issue spans from the years 1991 all the way till this year, 2024.
Oh my
If you
God.
wonder why there are so many alleged victims, that's your answer. We're talking about more than 25 years of this type of conduct. Now, although most of the victims who have stepped forward were victimized after 2015, this has been going on for a very long time. Now, when you think about the fact that some of this conduct occurred 25 years ago, and you wonder why would it take somebody so long to step forward, I want to remind you that many states in the United States have recognized that it's very difficult for a victim to step forward and to make these types of allegations when something very terrible has happened to them. I'll use New York, the state of New York, as an example. The state of New York has specific statutes in place that revive claims that are even claims that would typically be not able to be brought, that revive such claims, and they can be brought even 25 to 30 years later. Because there's a recognition there in New York and California and other states that it's very difficult for a victim to come forward. And I would respectfully suggest the only reason many of these people are coming forward because they see other victims coming forward. And it gives them some comfort that, hey, I won't be the only one. And I expect more victims will come forward. You know, there's an old saying that says, a lie has great speed, but truth has endurance.
Oh my
The
God.
acts complained of in these cases that we're going to file occurred primarily in New York, either Manhattan or the Hamptons, or occurred in California, primarily in Los Angeles, or in Florida, primarily in Miami. Most of these events and incidents occurred at parties, typically after parties, or album release parties, New Year's Eve parties,
Oh.
4th of July parties, something they call the puppy party, the all-white party, although several of these events occurred at auditions. Many times, especially young people, people wanting to break into the industry, were coerced into this type of conduct in the promise of being made a star, or in the promise of having Sean Combs listen to their tape or even let them read for Sean Combs. You should know that some of this behavior occurred at well-known venues in New York City.
What's
Some of this
one?
behavior occurred at private residences of people that we all know. Some
Wow.
of this behavior occurred at hotels that we're all familiar with.
If you're just joining us,
You should know that more than 55% of the victims filed reported this conduct to either the authorities, that is the police, or to hospitals.
oh my God.
In the process of collecting with our team assistants, medical records, reports that were made to the authorities. And I've already said that some of the individuals in this group did in fact talk to the FBI. You should know that several of the individuals, and when I say several, I mean many, who did in fact seek medical treatment were drug tested, and drugs were found in their system, weird drugs that you probably never heard of. One in particular that continues to pop up is a drug called xylazine, or trank,
Right?
which based on our research is known as a horse tranquilizer.
Oh my God.
Now, there's been a lot of reports that we're filing a class action. This is not a class action. Class action is when one or two people file a case on behalf of a group of people.
Okay.
It's not this.
Not
These
class.
cases will be individual cases. Each case will live and die on its own merit. These cases will be filed individually, one plaintiff against whoever the defendants were involved in the case.
Yeah, it's over.
Each case may be filed in one venue like California, another case may be filed in New York. One case may sue just Sean Combs, but multiple other people. One case may sue a range of people.
Wow.
I would expect most, though, to be filed, as I said, in New York and Los Angeles. Now, I know this. Many of you came here thinking or hoping, or perhaps believing that I may start naming names. That day will come, but it won't be today.
Oh my God.
The day will come when we will name names other than Sean Combs, and there's a lot of names. It's a long list already. Of course, I already know who some of these individuals are, but because of the nature of this case, we're going to make damn sure that we're right before we do that. But the names that we're going to name, assuming that our investigators confirm and corroborate what we've been told, are names that will shock you. These are individual cases. There are indeed other perpetrators involved. They will be revealed when that particular individual case is ready to be filed. They already know who they are. And I'm talking here about not just the cowardly but complicit bystanders. That is, those people that we know watched this behavior occur and did nothing. And I'm talking about the people that participated, encouraged it, egged it on. They know who they are. I call them the facilitators of foul play.
Can we know who they
Willing
are?
participants in vile conduct. As we identify them, each will be part of this case as defendants. These defendants will not only include individuals, but will also include corporate entities who ultimately profited off of this culture and behavior. I'm looking at banks, pharmaceutical companies, hotels. We know that many of these individuals were paid cash. We know that many of these individuals involved, whether they were the ones being assaulted and abused, or they're witnessing other people being assaulted and abused and then paid and threatened and told to leave. Typically paid 10 grand in cash and told to leave.
What?
And then threatened as they were leaving. So in addition to Sean Combs, you should know the defendants in these cases we're going to file will include anyone, of course, who engaged in the assault or exploitation, anyone who participated in such in any way, anyone who encouraged or facilitated this conduct, anyone who was in the room and watched it happen but made no effort to stop it, any venue or venue owner who was aware of what was going on but failed to stop it, any individual or entity who knew about the conduct and benefited from it but did nothing to report it.
That's the record companies.
And any individual or entity who covered it up or helped cover it up.
Is that the police?
These people who know who they are should just come forward now.
Can we know?
I would imagine, as we speak here, there are a myriad of people who are very nervous. You can't hide skeletons in the closet forever. I would expect there are many people out there right now who are desperately searching their memories as they delete their texts and data. Now, although these are, in fact, individual cases, there is a common theme, an MO, if you will. Typically, the victim is lured into a situation where he or she is given a drink. Typically, that drink, reported by these victims, is apparently laced with something. Once that drink takes effect, the perpetrators perform all kinds of sexual acts on the victims, many times passing him or her around as other people watch and enjoy the show, and then leave the victim ashamed, confused,
Oh my
injured,
God.
and wondering what happened. When the victim reaches out, he or she is told not to say anything. Sometimes there are threats of physical violence or financial repercussions or bodily harm. The claims we intend to bring will include the following: violent sexual assault or rape, sexual abuse, facilitated sex with a controlled substance, false imprisonment, compelling prostitution, sexual misconduct, dissemination of video recordings, false imprisonment, sexual abuse of minors.
Wow.
Given the large volume of cases, and given our other docket obligations, and given the fact that we want to be sure when we file these cases that they are fully vetted, I expect we'll start filing these cases against Sean Combs and other perpetrators within the next 30 days. Now, it's rare, sexual abuse, sexual exploitation, this type of activity is pervasive in our society, and it's rare we get a chance where we can really focus on this as a country and really focus on this about how pervasive this is and what we as collectively can do about it. So I thought I'd take this opportunity before I go into some of the individual cases and talk about some of the individual claims being made and so you'll get a sense of what this 120 people group looks like individually. I want to bring forward Carrie Paul. She's a national victim advocate who helps victims who have been victimized by this type of conduct. And she has some important words, and I hope you'll pay close attention. I think it's important that you hear from her.
If you guys are just joining us, they are giving us details about the cases against Diddy. So far, they said a 9-year-old has been one of the victims.
Our culture doesn't believe survivors. It blames and questions them. Instead of showing support, many choose to enable abusers. The media runs stories asking why it took so long for survivors to come forward, instead of asking what barriers exist. We also don't equip law enforcement with the ability to handle sexual assault crimes. Lack of funding translates to lack of training. We have officers in the field that don't know what to say to a rape victim, and also an alarming amount of backlog untested rape kits. Prosecutors are focused on what they can prove in a case, and if so, how to do that at time of trial. Advocates and staff are stretched thin with growing caseloads in the criminal justice system. Most people don't know how the criminal justice works in general. There isn't enough staff or resources to adequately explain the entire process to every victim and survivor. Our culture works against victims and survivors every day, and abusers know this. Abusers work themselves into positions of power, building a public image that is trusted and financially large enough to make people look away. Abusers are unfortunately very skilled at power and control, the foundation of abuse. They seek victims who are vulnerable, such as children, their employees, and their intimate partners, all who see a different version than the public does, all who rely on the abuser in some way. And for those that do come forward and aren't believed, face questions like, are you sure it happened that way?
Yeah.
Were you drinking? What were you wearing? All of this creates an environment that enables abusers to continue abusing them and future victims. To the survivors that have come forward despite not being believed at some point in time, your courage is like nothing we have seen before. We thank you for coming forward for yourself and all survivors. And lastly, I want all survivors that are watching this to know we believe you and we support you. Thank you.
Wow. This is a lot.
I want you now to hear from my co-counsel, Andrew Van Arsdale. We've created a sexual abuse hotline. I want him to visit with us just a few moments about how that works and the kind of volume of calls we've received.
Thank you, Tony. Like Tony said, my name is Andrew Van Arsdale. I'm the managing partner of Baby Law Group. We have offices in California, Montana, and North Carolina. To build off of what you just so well said, it's very hard to come forward. And given what we've experienced the past 10 days is really unprecedented in my career, at least. We represent thousands of survivors of abuse. And never, ever in a 10-day period have we seen over 3,000 people come forward.
3,000
Where
people.
we've confirmed and decided to investigate and represent 120 people while we're continuing to work through another 100 plus cases to prove them up, to validate what has happened here, and to hold those that are responsible accountable. And so like Tony said, we've set this up, 1-800-200-7474. I have a team of people standing by literally. If you know that this happened to someone and you have information about it, please contact us. If this happened to you, come forward. There's attorney-client privilege here. What you tell us is in confidence. Yes, we'll have to go out and build your case, but we will protect you. And the other thing that I want to say is the pattern and practice of this, again, is unprecedented. Over 30 plus years of the same sort of events happening, people thrust into the circle reportedly, and horrible things happening to them as a result. And from talking to these people that have come forward these past 10 days, I can tell you unequivocally that because the federal government did what it needed to do and indicted this man, that they put him in jail and a judge kept him in jail. They tell me directly, this validates my feelings. For so long, I thought it was my fault. What is it about me that put myself in that scenario? What was I wearing at the time? What did I do to be subjected to such horrific treatment at these people that I was trying to trust?
If you're just joining us, this is a
We know
live
now
stream.
It was not your fault.
120 victims.
You
These are
were
lawyers suing Diddy.
victimized by a group of
They are giving
powerful
disturbing
people
details.
that operated for 30 plus years, taking advantage of their wealth and the power that they held within the music industry.
This whole
Again,
industry is
thank
going
you
down.
To every single person that has come forward and contacted our office over the past 10 days. If you or someone you know suffered the same sort of treatment, please contact us at the number behind me and we will help you. Thank you.
I think it speaks to how important this issue is in the United States and frankly internationally, that we have reputable people here that want to provide kind of information that I think victims need to hear, witnesses need to hear, the public needs to hear. Let me introduce to you now Olivia Rivers from the Texas Association.
They are
Against
making
Sexual Assault.
very
Let her
disturbing
just give a few comments
allegations.
about,
Diddy
this
is
past
done. This goes beyond anything you've heard anybody
Good
say on
afternoon, everyone.
YouTube
My
or
name
the
is
blogs.
Olivia Rivers. I am just
We'll
serving
recap
my
at the end, but
absence
let's hear what
here
she has
as
to
the
say.
board chair for the Texas Association Against Sexual Assault. I'm also the CEO for the Bridge Over Troubled Waters, which is a local rape crisis center here in the Houston area. So thank you for being here as we address these heinous crimes. Sexual assault is not just a crime of violence against the body. It's an assault on the very essence of human dignity and safety. It shatters lives, it destroys confidence, and all too often, it leaves survivors feeling like they are voiceless, isolated, and vulnerable. The reality for many survivors is that coming forward to report their assault is one of the most difficult and daunting tasks that they will ever have to do. And for some, it may take days, months, or even years to speak up if they ever do. The reasons for this have been mentioned, but include the fear of being disbelieved, being blamed or judged, and of course, retaliation. The trauma of the assault itself being compounded by the trauma of the criminal justice process, where survivors must relive their experience in order to seek justice. And these feelings and fears are further exacerbated when the allegations are against prominent figures in the entertainment industry or Hollywood. Cases involving powerful figures often attract significant media attention, which can deter victims from coming forward due to fear of public exposure or scrutiny. The intense focus on these high-profile cases can make survivors feel that their personal lives are being put under a microscope, causing further emotional distress. These allegations mentioned here today, as reported, reflect deeply troubling claims that deserve thorough investigation, and no individual, regardless of their stature, is above the law or public accountability.
I know that's right.
Sadly, the statistics paint a very distorted picture. According to the National Sexual Violence Resource Center, 1 in 3 women and 1 in 6 men will experience some form of sexual violence in their lifetime. In the US alone, there are approximately 463,000 victims of rape or sexual assault every year, and these numbers barely scratch the surface, as sexual violence remains one of the most underreported crimes. But the numbers that follow tell an even more troubling story. Only about 23% of sexual assaults are reported to law enforcement. Of those, just 5% lead to an arrest, and even fewer, less than 1% of reported cases ever result in a conviction, which is a devastating gap between the crime and the justice that survivors deserve. I want to briefly focus on our state here in Texas. According to the Texas Association Against Sexual Assault, 6.3 million Texans, men and women, will experience some form of violence. That's every 2 minutes someone is sexually assaulted, meaning during the course of this press conference, around 60 individuals will forever be changed by this violence. And those are just a few of the victims. Obviously, this is unacceptable. We cannot allow this cycle of silence and inaction to continue. We have to create an environment where survivors feel empowered to come forward, where they are met with empathy and
If you're joining
respect,
us, they're making a mea culpa
not skepticism and blame.
for
We
more
have
victims to
ensure
come
that our legal
forward.
system is equipped to handle these cases with the seriousness they deserve, and that survivors have access to the resources that they need beyond the legal courtroom. We have to address the root causes of this epidemic: prevention, awareness, and fostering environments where respect, consent, and safety are non-negotiable values. Additionally, support for survivors has to be holistic. They have to have access to counseling, medical services, legal advocacy, and of course, community support, regardless of whether they choose to report or not.
They have assembled
Every
an
survivor who has come forward
all-star
with
team
bravery is an inspiration.
of
To those who are
experts
still grappling with their decision, know
and
that you're not
defenders.
alone and that your voice matters. Your story matters. We see you, we believe you, and we are committed to fighting for a future where sexual violence is no longer tolerated and where justice is not the exception, but the standard. Thank you.
Wow.
I want to visit with you real quickly before we close here about some specific instances without disclosing the victim's name.
Let's get
You
into
probably know that depending on the age
Volume
of
up.
the victim, you can file these cases, these individual cases, under Jane Doe or John Doe. Each state is different in that respect. Typically, there is a balancing test, like the public's right to know the name of the victim and plaintiff versus the confidentiality and the safety of the plaintiff. So we'll have to struggle with that with each one of these cases. Our intention, of course, is to, like we always do, file these cases under a pseudonym until the court tells us otherwise. But let me share with you a few, just kind of give you a sense.
Let's get
of
into the
kind of
details,
cases
y'all.
and the kind of instances that people are calling and reporting.
We're going to
that we are
recap
trying to
after this,
corroborate,
but
vet.
let's listen to what he has to
These are the
say.
ones that we've already corroborated, vetted, and collected evidence on.
Okay.
One individual who was 22 years at the time she was assaulted said that the typical MO at one of these parties that have been widely discussed in the press was
That's
that
what we call a freak officer.
when you were handed a drink, and now we know that the drink is laced with something, if you refused to drink it, you were kicked out of the party. Let that sink in for a minute. I mean, the admission to this party was that you had to drink the chosen drink that was handed to you. And now we know that in most cases, I would say 90% of the cases, these individuals were drugged with some sort of drug. That was kind of the MO. Another instance, this individual who was 9 years old at the time was taken to an audition in New York City with Bad Boy Records. Other boys were there to audition as well. All of them were trying to land a record deal. All of them were minors. This individual was sexually abused, allegedly by Sean Combs.
Oh my
And
God.
several other people at the studio
Oh my God.
in the promise to both his parents and to him himself of getting a record deal.
Oh my God.
Another instance, another minor told allegedly by Sean Combs that he would make him a star but needed to visit with him in private about it, away from his parents. Once they were in a private area, allegedly Mr. Combs made the victim perform oral sex
Oh,
on him. Another incident.
oh my
An
God.
individual 15 years old at the time, flown to New York City to attend a party, was drugged, and then taken into a private room, allegedly in the presence of Mr. Combs, where this female individual, minor, was raped, and then other individuals took turns raping her. Another individual, 26, at the time of the occurrence, was picked up allegedly by Mr. Combs and several other people in a black SUV from the airport, was given one drink in the SUV, and then literally woke up the next day not knowing what had happened, but with pain and damage to both her vagina and her anus, where she then went to the hospital.
Wow.
Missing her underwear and her shoes. Another instance, individual, this time not a minor, attended a group dinner, allegedly with Sean Combs in Miami. She wasn't drinking because she was pregnant, but whatever she drank at the table, apparently, at least according to her, was laced with something. She blacked out, and she woke up in the same bed, again, allegedly, with Mr. Combs in his mansion in Miami. Her vagina and her anus were torn and sore. And I could go on. I mean, literally, you're sensing a theme here. It's the same theme, and it all involves some sort of drug. One instance, an individual who was 20 years old at the time was asked to attend, just saw her on the street, asked to attend a party in a hotel. She was flattered, went to the party, was given one drink and doesn't remember anything else. Ultimately, was so messed up, went to the hospital where they found cocaine and this horse tranquilizer in her blood system. I'm going to give you a quote from a very young man who told us over the phone about his experience and all the things that happened to him. He says, allegedly at the hands of Sean Diddy Combs and his friends, in the effort to try to sign a record deal. This was kind of what he was told he would have to do. His quote is, "Had he not been in power, I feel like I could have been something great. I quit the industry because of what Sean Combs did to me." And that's really what it comes down to. We are pursuing this, asking you to support this effort, to encourage witnesses and victims to come forward and bring your evidence so we can continue to break down this wall of silence and we can continue to have these stories heard. This is the beginning of what I hope to be a national dialogue. This type of sexual assault, sexual abuse, and sexual exploitation should never happen in the United States or anywhere else. This should have never been allowed to go on for so long. This conduct has created a mass of individuals who are injured, scared, and scarred. If you're one of those individuals, we ask you to reach out. If not to us, to someone you trust. If you are someone who witnessed any of these events, we ask you to reach out. Your name can remain confidential.
Oh,
With
goodness.
that, I'll take a few questions, not many, maybe two. But if you have a question, I'll be.
We're going to discuss this in a second, you guys, but let's let them finish the question part. This is
So many
so,
minors are making accusations in total, and are the feds aware of the allegations of minors in the case?
I don't know what the feds are aware of, okay, but I do know it's 25 out of this 120.
25 people.
I will say this to that point. We welcome the FBI or any authority who wants to come to us, and we're going to make that available to these victims because I think that's important. My suspicion is, based on talking with these folks, is that the FBI is just not aware of these people. The FBI has talked to some of these folks, and I'm going to try to encourage the victims to, in fact, talk to the FBI, because I think they have some very important things to say.
Mm.
And they were all of the children auditioning because they were musicians, or were any of them kids of employees or anything like that?
All seeking either TV or some sort of music career, with promises of, we're going to make you a star. Instead, basically did things to them such that they don't want to have anything to do with the entertainment industry ever again.
Wow.
All right, guys. Thank you very much for your attention. We're going to go now. Thank you.
You guys, what we have
Filed here?
just witnessed.
There's a few plaintiffs here, but I don't anticipate filing them here. Probably in New York City.
Okay. If you're just joining us, this has been actually incredible. In a most horrible way ever. My mind has been blown. There is a joke I can make about this, but I will not make it. Okay, so what just happened? If you guys don't know, Attorney Buzbee, we have some of his resume if you guys want to see. He has had a press conference. Now, he led us to believe in the press conference that he would not just name Diddy, but he would also name his cohorts. In the press conference, he said at this time they are not ready to name the cohorts. Now, we can talk about that in a second, because apparently a lot of people are trying to settle out. A lot of people that watched, that helped, that facilitated, or that enjoyed these violent delights that had violent ends, they are trying to settle out. Again, who actually gets caught will be like, who doesn't want to write the biggest check? But forget all that, because I said, okay, well, then what did you call us here for? Attorney Tony Buzbee did not disappoint. He has made some shocking claims that goes beyond anything anyone has said on YouTube or Instagram or TikTok, beyond what anybody has said. We are going to recap, but we're also going to say this is a reckoning, not just a Diddy, not just of the music industry, not just of Hollywood, but of a whole system. They said so far, 3,000, they have had over 3,085 people contact them. They are trying to investigate and vet every claim. Out of those 3,085, they have vetted, investigated, and substantiated 120 claims. There are already 120 claims where they're like, yo, we got all the evidence we need. Let's roll, okay? Now, out of this 120 that have been substantiated, already 25 have talked to the feds. I'm guessing they testified within the grand jury. But it gets deeper, because at the end of the day, men lie, women lie, numbers do not lie. Why is that important? He said that out of the 120 people, they are divided equally into 60 men and 60 women. More claims are coming. It was first rumored that it would be a class action. I think in the first scene, they actually said it was a class action. However, they said they have decided this will not be a class action. Each case will be tried individually. Now, they are also going after record companies, businesses, venues, the yacht company that Diddy uses. Every place this took place, and they're going after everybody that watched and participated. What is by far the saddest, most shocking, disgusting claim out of all of it? Let's get into it. There is a 9YO, okay? Got to talk around YouTube. A 9YO, right? 9-year-old, that was taken to an audition. Now, mind you, before we get into this, they said they have corroborated, they have vetted, they have evidence of the freak-offs. They have evidence with car receipts, with video receipts. Out of the 3,085, 120, they have more than enough evidence to put him under. The other ones, they are still investigating. Again, people are saying there has been a panicked run in Hollywood because they want to make sure that their names are kept off of the list. Again, Remember, I do have to say this. We live in America. In America, it is not illegal to see a crime go down and not help. Unless we have a special relationship with the person that's being committed against, or we in some way were involved in it, yes, we have a duty of care. However, if we have nothing, I can sit across the street and watch someone be raped violently. And if I had nothing to do with it, this and that, you cannot sue me for watching. Morally, it is reprehensible, but you cannot sue me for not watching. I believe what they are trying to say here is, okay, fine. Maybe the law can't sue you, just like we saw that mess that happened with Cassie. Maybe it's outside of the statute of limitations. Maybe the law can't sue you. However, there is a court of public opinion. These are high-ranking officials. These are celebrities, actors, some of your faves. He said that the people that actually sat and watched for their enjoyment, we know who they are, leading them to believe you either are a celebrity, actor, singer, model, rapper, listen, something. There, again, in the court of public opinion, we don't need to press charges. We just need those names so we can make sure we will never, ever, 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 ever support again. Ever. Put 7 R's behind that. Let's get into the most shocking claims. I took cliff notes for anybody that joined late. Let's get into the most shocking claims. There was a 9-year-old taken to an audition with other minors there. They were sexually abused by Diddy and other people at that audition and passed around. Nine. And he is one of many. I do remember on Instagram Live, there was this guy that said that he was like around that age, 8 or 9, and his parents took him to an audition to be a Sean John model. On this audition, this kid was trying to be a child star. Again, what's Justin Bieber's story? What's Little Bow Wow's story? What's Usher's story? Even though Usher seems to be super, super tight with Diddy. Again, that's why we have to get these monsters out, because assuming these claims are right, it's like an infection. The people that touch that poison, some people find the antidote and spend their lives making sure that they protect others. Other people, that poison turns them into monsters of their own right. Another shocking claim, right? I'm sorry, with the 9-year-old, they told him that he would be a star. And now this is a different minor. Said that you would be a star. But said in order for it to happen, Diddy said you got to visit me when your parents aren't around. Now, you a kid, you don't think anything's going to happen to you. You think your parents are probably hating. Like, why can't I be in the street? The streets are fun. Everybody's laughing. Why can't I be in the streets? You don't see your parents' vision. You don't realize you're walking into a monster's cave. He actually met, said he would be a star. He actually met with Diddy, okay, in private, unbeknownst to the parents. Diddy had the person perform sloppy toppy. They said that they were forced to perform sloppy toppy. They have evidence to corroborate. They are 100% sure that they can prove it. We will get into Tony Buzbee's resume, but they were 100%. I do want to say also at this time, real talk, justice for Tyrone Blackburn, justice for Little Rod. Now, I did an interview with Little Rod. Go ahead and check that out. But justice for Tyrone Blackburn. Before we get into the rest of, I'm recapping what was said in that press conference, if you're just joining us, and we're going to talk about it. When it comes to the Tyrone Blackburn thing, when Tyrone Blackburn came out with Little Rod and Liza Gardner, and Little Rod said, there's underage people, there's this, there's that, and told us everything. When he came out with Liza Gardner and these Jane Does and all this other stuff, it was disgusting to me how idiots, because they were clout chasing Diddy's team, because Diddy at that time seemed to have the power. We're going to get back to those accusations, but let me just say this. Diddy at that time seemed to have the power. And as we see, not everybody, But everybody that has a low or poor or missing moral compass bowed, licked the feet of those in power, because it was more important that they become cool with Diddy's team and maybe they can get exclusives later. It was more important that they literally discount everything. These people want to talk about black men. Oh, Diddy's a black man. That they discounted everything those two black men, Little Rod and Tyrone A. Blackburn, actually were saying, because they wanted to kiss Diddy's butt. I remember, I have names. I know the stupid wannabe Twitter court reporters. I know the Breakfast Club. I remember everybody that tried to discount everything Little Rod said about the prostitute, about the minors, about the underages, about the this, about what he witnessed and what he saw. And the reason he didn't speak out is because he felt nobody would believe him. And when he spoke out, not only did people not believe him, they literally turned it into turning him into hustle man. Oh, you just trying to get money. You do this, you do that. I saw a whole media thing. People that should be unbiased and just look at the fact. You know, this story has no legs. It's going to be thrown out soon. Why? Because you texting Diddy's lawyer and they're not getting back to you, and that's why you think this has no legs? When the reason you think it has no legs is because the people with power and money are telling you it has no legs. The people with power and money are telling you don't believe your lying eyes. And the people that we trust to be in the media, and again, there are many great journalists in the media doing their thing, but this is for the ain't-ish people that literally conspired. We want to act. How did he get away with this for 20 or 30 years? We saw it in real time a few months ago when Little Rod came out with his suit. We saw it. We saw people not do any investigation, not verify anything. The only thing they verified was what Diddy's attorneys were telling them to say. We saw the Breakfast Club, a nationally syndicated show, make fun of, say that didn't do an ounce of research. Who was their sources? Looked like Diddy's legal team. We saw in real time the way someone finally spoke out and they conspired. Let me tell you something. Baby, the North remembers. You can call me Northwest. When Cassie came out, I saw the knives sharpening because I do this for a living. I know y'all out there saving the world, baby. When you want to have a mental break and a little distraction, you come to my channel. But I saw in the media, and again, I'm not talking about all media. I'm talking about the ain't-ish media that were happy to help a monster cover things up the way that they've had this system to cover things up for decades. I saw them, and there were people gleeful that this time they might be called by the devil to do the dirty work. Maybe they might be called by the devil, and then they can become on, or they can be an exclusive reporter, or they can be famous. I saw it happening in real time. You want to ask, how could this happen? Y'all, we saw it in real time. We saw it in real time. We saw it. And the fact that instead of these places that we're supposed to trust to give us news, we saw them literally being strategic, not caring if the victims get served, not caring if this, not even doing any. TikTok and YouTube did more investigation than some, not all. Nancy Dillon and Cheyenne Roundtree been doing the thing, right? Shirley Harper's been doing the thing. There have been reporters and publications doing the thing, but I'm talking about the ones that chose to literally get in the gray area and discredit these victims that were, and Little Rod, that were brave enough to come out. Little Rod has been in hiding since he came out. His 8-year-old daughter, his baby, they have been harassed. Did he say, you know, the things that they're talking about with Don and Kalina? They did that with Little Rod's people. So many people. And we saw, and they laughed and they were gleeful because they thought they were going to get a penny. Literally willing to give an ounce of blood or a pound of flesh just for a few, like some money. Or not the money, the promises they might get power. Yo, it's sick. Little Rod, I'm about to get back into the recap. Little Rod told us, everybody called him a liar. And I saw the knives sharpening with Cassie. Because this is what I do for a living. I saw the knives sharpening. I saw the hip hop flunkies getting in order. I saw them coming out, going to try to be like, Cassie was a hoe. You can't believe her. I saw it getting ready and lined up. It was only when they said there's a criminal investigation or a secret investigation. And then, we actually reported Diddy's being investigated. TMZ did a little pop-up. Then they said, never mind, that's not true. There is no criminal investigation. Diddy settled within 24 hours of that suit being filed. I really honestly think it was because there was legislation going on in the New York legal system that basically makes NDAs not applicable. Right now, if you sign an NDA, even if you sign the NDA legally, nobody can enforce the NDA if you are a victim of SA or any type of abuse. That legislation doesn't just pop up and be stamped on the governor's desk. It needs to pass, the houses in New York State, and then the governor has to sign off on it, right? The sign off is usually just, procedural, but it doesn't happen as a surprise. You know when it passes, when it's going to pass, because people take polls like, how many of y'all gonna vote before, after? So and if your job is to do this type of law, you pay attention to it. So it's coming, and what day that the bill is supposed to be signed into law. Diddy settled within 24 hours. Yes, it was at TMZ, but also because that legislation, they have been notified along with all the lawyers that work in that field that it was going to be signed the next day on the governor's desk. Diddy signed with Cassie literally the day before. What does that mean? Legislation in America under the Constitution, because it gets very murky and it can be very, very unfair. It is never, it's never in hindsight. It's always forward. So if they do a law tomorrow that says, like, if you pencil in your brows, you're going to go to jail forever. Okay. As long as I show up with a clean face the next day, they can't do anything to me. People can show them videos forever. This chick been drawing in her brows since the beginning of time, since she got on YouTube. Okay. But legislation, and especially anything criminal, can never look backwards. It must always look forward. That's why when people are saying, Cassie's going to write a tell-all book, she didn't sign an NDA because of legislation. I said, that's why Diddy signed so quick. Because if he had signed or even did a settlement the day after that, Cassie, even if she signed the NDA, it wouldn't have been applicable. He settled right before that law came into effect. I do believe in the bottom of my heart that is the main motivator why he settled, okay? But even after that, they were mobilizing the scene to turn Cassie into the biggest liar in the world. As a matter of fact, they had to drop that video of her being dog walked down a hotel hallway. And I don't mean that disrespectfully. I mean, like, that's what happened in the truest sense of the word. I want us to see the brutality. I want us to remember that's what had to actually take place so that it finally silenced the naysayers about Cassie. But I saw it. Little Rod told us. Little Rod said they were underage. Little Rod said this. Little Rod said that. What did they do? They put up Little Rod's attorney, Tyrone Blackburn, on trial. He's young. He's black. Okay, continue. Oh, well, practicing law is a privilege. I don't think this has any legs. They literally put up basically saying, how dare this young black man lawyer open his mouth to try to get power to justice for this empire. And there were a million flackies that were like, no, really reenacting scenes from the Django Unchained to protect this monster. But you know what? It has reached a critical point. It has reached a tipping point, if you will. And now may God have mercy on their souls. This is going down. And remember, I said there are powers that be and all this other stuff. Baby, Beyonce and Jay-Z are not the powers that be. But if they are involved in this, baby, they going down too. Everybody that's involved. Kevin Hart, we looking at you. If he's involved. Jamie Foxx, we looking at you. Paris Hilton, we looking at you. Kim Kardashian, we looking at you. Kris Jenner, we looking at you. Right? Big hip. Corey Gamble, shucking and jiving, doing the thing, baby. We looking at you because we still want to get to the bottom of Kanye saying you fed, right? Are you an operative? But why are we at it? Kanye West, we are looking at you. Kanye probably going to do a press release saying, I was there. Let me tell you what happened. He's probably going to do a put pictures of the freak also in his next Yeezy shirt. Everybody that was tight with Diddy, and I don't mean attending just the parties, okay? I'll be real with y'all. There are everybody in Hollywood and music attended Diddy's white parties. Now that we're moving into the legal stage, we need to actually differentiate, okay? And to literally differentiate does not mean that you letting somebody off the hook. It's saying we don't need to play in La La Land. We don't need to make up fake stuff. The truth is crazier than anything somebody could have made up. It does not serve anybody for us to be running around nilly telling you were at a white party, you were at a white party, you were at a white party. Every MFing person in the industry was at a white party. We need to know who was at the after parties. We need to know who was at the freak offs. We need to know who was in Diddy's underground grotto in the little private room 20 yards away. That's what we need to know. We don't need to make up stupid stories about what mansion connects to that. That's all lies. What we need to do is actually live in reality, because this is going to court. They will be held accountable. But if we really want to do a service to all the victims, how about we stop? I'm not talking about y'all. I'm talking people back. I'm not yelling at y'all. How about we stop living in La La Land and actually deal with the facts? Because once we know what the facts are, we can use that to take down everything. But it doesn't serve to be like, yeah, and I heard this. Yeah, I get it. But we need to be organized. Everybody and their mom was at the white party. Who was at the after parties? Who was at the freak offs? Now, and it is a clue that you are at the white party, you're at the freak offs. But my sources are telling me there are a lot of people that didn't go to the white parties. They just showed up for the freak offs because that's what they were going for. Let's not forget the white party was one of the most biggest networking events in Hollywood. It's who was at those freak offs, who were watching the shows, who were sitting there like wolves, literally. And let me not, no disrespect to wolves, sitting there just looking like predators while they saw women, men, children slip into the unconscious. That's what we need to be worried about. Okay? And we are going to do it. They said it was a pipe dream in the beginning. Y'all remember? They said when we were riding out for Cassie, Little Rod, Liza Gard, they said, oh my God, this and that. You putting 20 on 10. He ain't never going to go down. This and that. Shut up. Not y'all, but the people in the back. Shut up. Shut your mouths and either fall in line, right? Either get in line, get out of the way, get behind me, get out of the way, or keep standing there so you can get run over. But one way or another, this train of justice is coming through. It's coming through. There's too many people. You cannot make 120 people disappear. You add in the cases already there. You cannot make 135 people disappear. And you damn sure can't make 3,085 victims disappear. It just can't happen. It's reaching max capacity. This is what we prayed for. This is what we asked for. And guess what? There are even more victims that are gearing up the suit. There are even more victims out there. Even more outside of what this guy's saying. There's more. So let's get into the shocking thing. All right. The things that disgust me. The things that when I see Ray J's dumbass up there, and I'm going to call people out by name, because let me tell you something. Yes, I know I do silly stuff. Yes, I know. I love seeing what the neighbors are doing. All right. I'm messy. I love it. I live for it. I believe it's kind-hearted. Well, there's no malicious. However, when I see people siding with predators, when I see people siding with PDF files, when I see people protecting people that enable or supply or bring innocence to a monster to be fed and have their youth and their innocence sucked away, creating generational curses, I will never stand for that. I don't care if you're my best friend. I don't care if you're my blood. I don't care if you brought me into this world. Oh, well. Oh, effing well. That is the one thing where I'm like, there is nothing on heaven, hell, or in this earth that will ever make me protect, make an excuse, or stand by someone that does this to men, women, sons, daughters, and children. And for anyone that does, and like somebody was like, For anybody that does, it makes me look at people like, what the F are you into? Do I need to check your basement for a few dead prostitutes? Oh, it's enough. Have some empathy. Empathy for who? The devil? No, I will not. What's wrong with y'all? What is not y'all, but what's wrong with people? What God do you worship? That when he is literally doing his will, answering our prayers, we got to sit there like he's an abuser. If we say yay, we gonna get struck down too? How? How is God gonna put a 9-year-old in my path? I bet you what? You put a 9-year-old in my path, I bet you come back. The only thing you're gonna be sitting there is seeing them eating ice cream and watching Mulan with me. I bet you that. Oh, your time's gonna come. You're gonna be humbled. How? Put a 9-year-old in the room with me. Leave them there for 24 hours. They're not gonna want to leave. They're going to be so full of cakes, cookie, ice cream, and we're going to be literally doing a live rendition of all the musical acts from the Disney animated version of Mulan. Stop it. These people are crazy. It makes me wonder, what are people into that you are willing to look the other way? What? Who raised you? I don't even know. Excuse. Baby, throw them in jail. Let them pray to God. If God wants them out, that jail cell going to open up. Oh, it hasn't opened up? Well, take it up with God. I don't got nothing to say for it. And yes, I will delight as God erases evil from this earth. I don't know what God, some people, baby, my God said rejoice in everything. The flowers, the suns, everything he's created, everything on this earth. And that includes when he like literally decides to pop out and remind the devil, y'all not just going to be running willy-nilly. There's a limit to everything. There's a limit to everything. Again, listen, if you don't want to believe in God, I don't care. This isn't about religion. This is about the fact that the universe always bends to the arc of good. Always bends, no matter what. Now that bend might be long. It might take 400 years, but it always bends to the good. Evil can only, it's like Cat Williams said, the devil cannot create anything at all. All they can do is try to pull down the people actually doing anything. You know what I'm saying? You don't believe in God? That's cool. This ain't a religious sermon. I don't care what you do. As long as you leaving the youngins alone, fine. Say the universe. Say you don't believe in anything, then put it on yourself. Say humanity will not let it. I don't care. That's not the point. Okay, let's get back into this. All right. Okay. So really quick, a 9-year-old taken to audition with other children, other minors. He was sexually abused by Sean Combs, Diddy, Brother Love, right? Brother Love children, Brother Love, and others who were there. He was promised either a TV or he was promised a music career. However, there are many auditions they said when people were promised a TV career or a fashion career. In this case, it was a music career. He promised them that he was going to be a star. He promised them that he was going to be a star. But he said, in order for that to happen, you gotta come without your parents. They don't want you to know. Just like the devil. You gotta come without your parents for a special audition. And then Diddy forced them to perform Sloppy Toppy. It makes me look at Scooter Braun. It makes me look at Diddy. It makes me look at Jermaine Dupri. It makes me look at everybody that sent these these were boys, young, aspiring to Diddy for the Diddy 24-hour camp, right? It makes me think Justin Bieber ain't been right since. Usher. Well, I don't know. He might have already morphed into a monster. You know that vampire bite, right? Justin Bieber had to go through an exorcism to get out. Hopefully he got that out. Usher looks like he might have turned into a vampire. I don't know. That remains to be seen. I'm not saying he did, right? I'm not saying that he did it, but ever since that day, I've been looking at him different. No, I'm not saying he did it at all. We're going to have to wait for people to be named and the facts to come out, but the facts are coming out about the victim. Okay, there was a 15-year-old that was flown to New York City, 15-year-old boy, much like the Jane Doe that claims it happened. There was an aspiring singer. I know many people, including myself, believe it was whatever. We'll talk about that in a different video. They were rugged, taken to a private room by Diddy's people, handlers, assistants, lackeys, people, demons that look. And at the end of the day, I got more hate. The demon I hate, but the people that enabled the demon, the people that helped the demon, the people that lured people in, the people that protected the demon for just a few pieces of gold. What the fuck is wrong? Sorry, what is wrong with y'all? What is wrong with them? What is wrong with them? Is a Rolex that important? Is walking into Nobu and being on the arm of celebrity that important? Is walking in with a Gucci purse or Gucci slides that important? Is being able to be the guy in the club where all the pretty girls come up trying to go? Is it that important that you will sell a child out? Yo, they were taken to a private room to wait for Diddy. They then claimed that they were raped and then passed along to the rest of the effing demons as they took turns raping them. There was another, this time it's a girl. Again, they said the victims are 120 strong, that they have verified and have verifiable proof. 50% men, 50% women, 60 men, 60 women. They are saying that the SUV picked up a person. They were given something to drink. They don't remember anything else. They woke up. Their nether regions on both sides were very, very sore. They were missing their underwear and shoes. They went to the hospital. They got the kicks down. There was another woman that experienced something very similar. However, her nether regions were actually torn. Had to go to the hospital for an emergency. They said that the evidence that they have vetted and investigated and find out Tony Buzbee is a huge lawyer. But shout out to Tyrone A. Blackburn for actually fighting for this when every media was laughing at him, mocking him, doing this, doing that. And he still stood 10 toes down to make sure that he got justice, not just for the Black community, but for everybody's community. They said that out of Diddy's victims, 62% are Black, 30% are white. And then, y'all know I'm bad at math, 62, 30, that's 92. 8% are either Hispanic or Asian. Not just for the Black community, for everybody's community. And this is after they tried to destroy this man's reputation. When now, look at God's glory. Everything Little Rod put in his complaint, no matter how outlandish, it's being proven true one by one by one. First, the federal investigation, the indictment, and then we move into these 120 victims lawsuits. They say they have 3,085 total victims that they are vetting, and they expect more to come out. What else happened? They said that when you arrived for a freak off, people thought it was a party. As soon as you entered the party, you were giving a drink that was laced. It was unbeknownst to the people, it was laced. However, if you refused to drink, if you did not want to drink, and no lie, I don't drink, so I probably would have been kicked out. Like, I don't want, do you have any non-alcoholic? Even though Diddy would have been probably pouring it in some water, like, what you want, sparkling or still? But they said it was like, it was laced, the drink. And if you refuse to drink the drink for any reason, and yeah, my daddy taught me a long time ago, don't never take a drink from anyone for any reason. And if you want to get a drink, you walk to the bar and you order your own and you watch the bartender make it. However, in Diddy, how would you know? Because they was lacing the bottles from jump. The bartenders were like it was laced in, right? And if you gotta leave your drink, then you just left your drink. That's it. If somebody asks for a sip or touches your drink, you leave it. No, I'm cool. You can have it. Again, it's sick that a woman or men because this is a lot of men. Or man, anyone has to do, but it is what it is. You were given the laced drink. If you refuse to drink the drink, you did not know it was laced, but if you refused to drink the drink, you were kicked out of the party. You could not get admittance into what you thought was party, but was actually a freak off. The after parties were the freak offs, not the white parties. The after parties were the freak offs. We need to find out who was at those white parties, because I guarantee you, I'm sorry, not white party, freak offs. I guarantee you, everybody was at the white parties, but I guarantee you there are powerful people that didn't want to be seen at the white parties because they didn't want to be associated with these violent delights and violent ends. If you are literally giving people laced drinks, and that they said they estimate 90% of the people that were invited to those parties or allowed were drugged. If not, you would get kicked out. 90% of this wasn't consensual, right? It makes you, again, they didn't want to be associated because they knew, but what were they doing? They said that these people were great. They were passed around. There were people that participated along with Diddy with the grape. But what was even more or equally as sick, because this is all sick, they would be in the cut, right? They were in the cut. There were people watching it for their own enjoyment, watching like it was theater, watching like it was an episode of Luther. Did y'all see that last season of Luther? I thought it was the scariest thing. My boyfriend thought it was like horror for 3-year-olds. I'll be watching horror stuff. It had me spooked. But it was much like this, like he would have like online chat rooms where the evil person was like murking people online and like mentally torturing them before it happened. And everybody was like watching it. You know what? Everybody was actually watching it. So, where are we at? Where are we at with this? Well, let's get back into this mess. You cannot make this stuff up. This is some of the sickest stuff that I have heard. Diddy is going back down. And after this, now that it has been confirmed that there are numerous youngins, I don't want to hear another MF person defend him. I don't want to hear another dummy talking about, you're going to be humbled. God don't like you laughing. Shut the F up. We don't worship the same God. You really need to evaluate why your God is talking to you from the ground and my call is coming from up above. You really need to reevaluate that. Well, you listen. We need to start asking people, look how much Diddy was always praising God. We really need, when somebody's like, all praises God, we need to start being like, you mean up above or down below? We really need to, because when we hear like, oh, to the most high, to this, to that, even to the universe, what universe do you believe in? I'm just curious. Start asking people that, oh, I want to thank God. What God are you referring to? What God are you referring to? Because baby, the devil goes by many names. Many names. Yeah. So I don't want to hear one more person. I don't want to hear one more prophet. Everybody, focus. Not y'all. I'm talking to people in back. Focus. Like focus. They said that the person that had the torn nether regions on both sides, torn. That's how brutal they were. Torn. When this was a woman, when she was taken to the hospital, they found Coca-Cola and horse tranquilizers in her stomach. They also said that in numerous times when they went to the hospitals, oh, by the way, did y'all know that 55% of this stuff was reported when it first happened? So now we got to look into what? Hospitals. We got to look into the police. We got to look at detectives. Because if they got 3,085 calls with, yeah, I was a victim, and they said 55% of the people that they talked to, there's evidence that when it went down, they actually reported it. Well, we got to ask how there are 1,600. The victims came from Georgia, Diddy's abandoned mansion, and Diddy stuff. Remember, I did a live where I said, yo, back in December, I was like, yo, Diddy was active in Atlanta. And this actually looks like Justin. Poor Justin. He might be a co-conspirator. He actually might be. His daddy looked like he got him into some deep mess. I'm going to do a story about that later. Because I just want to make sure I have permission to speak about it. It's going to come out, but I need to make sure I have permission to speak about it. It happened in Miami, Diddy Star Island. It happened in New York City, and it happened in Los Angeles. 55% reported it at the time. It was looked over, it was pulled over. You guys, this is going to go deep, but I'll tell you what, there is strength in numbers. There is strength in numbers for people that say nothing's going to change with the powers that be. Baby, my ancestors used to be shackled in slavery. And now I'm on YouTube talking trash. Look at God's glory. But I'm being dead serious. Don't tell me that people don't make a difference. Don't tell me that people saying this is wrong doesn't. Yes, I'm not saying everybody stands up for right and the next day it happens. I know this isn't a Disney movie, but I know through every instance of revolution, when we all stand together, the many against the few. I don't care how much money they have. I don't care how big their army is. I don't care what they control. When the many stand up and rise against the few and say enough, everything changes. Everything. The course of this country has been changed because of that. The course of the world has been set. And for people to be so cynical, and I get it, the media wants you to believe there's no point in saying anything. Nothing happens. Why do they keep telling us that? Because they want us to shut up. Because they know when enough of us get together, everything happens. The world changes. The world changes, but it starts with baby steps. It's like chipping away at a dam. Who knows? Chip, 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 chip. Chipping away at a dam with a paper clip. Chip, chip, chip. Yes, it's a paper clip. Yes, it's going to take a time. Yes, yes, yes. But, and who can tell what chip away at the dam is going to open it to wash away the evil? But it always does chip away. You just have to be diligent. The people, there is another A minor man that said, child that said, I quit the industry because of what Sean Combs did to me. They are looking for other people to bring the evidence. They are going to break the wall of silence that allowed Diddy to get away with this. And I truly hope everybody, that when they heard about Cassie's lawsuit, when they heard about Little Rod's lawsuit, when they heard about Lifetime, when they heard about all this, and they saw it, and they decided to side with power without, and I can understand if they did their own investigations. I can understand if they looked at the evidence and they're like, well, I just don't believe it. They didn't do any of that. They said, who got the money? Who can help me the most? Who do I need to get me a TV show? Who do I need to put me on? Who do I need? They decided to do that. And now look, they sitting there looking stupid because they thought that something was going to go the same way it had gone for the past 30 years. That lets you know how many times Diddy has almost been exposed because they ran a play. It was like a well-oiled machine, dangling pennies in front of people and them jumping like a golden doodle on his back legs. Yes, 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 yes. They dangled pennies in front of them and they took it. And it was a well-oiled machine, but something changed this time. You know what that was? It was social media. That's what actually changed. See, that's the great thing about YouTube. I can run my mouth all I want. I don't need any paybacks. Maybe I have a channel. Okay, I have a channel. I don't need any paybacks. I don't need a solid from going on anybody else's channel. I don't need a favor. I don't need anybody to pay me anything. As y'all can tell, I am well loved and well fed. Right? I don't need to do anything for $1. But more than that, YouTube provides the opportunity that I can learn a good living just speaking the truth. Yeah, I have to walk around some things. I can't be like, yeah, they were violently raped at 2 p.m. while kids are playing out in the hallway like, whoa, calm down, calm down. But I can speak the truth as I believe it. As I believe it. Again, it's my opinion, people, as I believe it to be. And I can give you guys information for you guys to go do your own investigations. TikTok allows people to do the same thing. Instagram, I mean, no. But TikTok and also YouTube, they allow you to still earn a living and speak your truth as you know it. And it allows you, no matter how small your voice is, people can find the truth and they can amplify it. Don't believe people, oh, the powers that be. That ain't true. Yeah, you got to be smart about it, but you can still speak your truth. Prior to this, the only way you could get a story out was through the industry gatekeepers, going on the news, going on, what is it, Dateline or 60 Minutes? Is that still on? Going on the Sunday morning shows, getting written up in the newspaper, getting this, that's the only way you can get your story out. And if the powers that be, because maybe everybody, the same percentage of people that can be bought in the real world, it's the same amount of percentage of people that can be bought with the powers that be. Everybody can't be bought. And the only people that believe that are people that can be bought. You know what I'm saying? It's like the boy people that are a little rapey. They believe everybody's a little rapey. People that are thieves believe everybody's a little bit of a thief, right? People that can be bought or have been bought always believe everybody's bought. They always believe everybody's on a payroll because you yourself can be bought. But everybody, even in the big industries, can't be bought. But there still are enough people that can be bought that they were shutting down these stories for over 30 years and they thought they were going to happen. So next time, and I get it, it'd be a lot of mess on social media. You really do have to do your research. Even for my channel, I enjoy telling you guys what I believe to be true. But I'm just at the end of the day giving you information and saying, do not take my word for it. I'm giving you information. Go out and do your own research. Go out and do your own research. Please believe that I have been right every step of the way. And even when I talked about Diddy's lawyer being fired, and a lot of people don't understand how lawyers get fired. They think it's like Donald Trump, you're fired. They don't understand how counsel is moved out and then they quietly are off the case. I'll wait, just like I waited for the Diddy stuff in December. And now it's what, October? And everything I said has been vindicated. Watch what Diddy's trial with that lawyer. If you guys don't know, I did a story yesterday and said Diddy's lawyer has been, Mark Agnifilio has been fired. A lot of people are like, I Googled and I'm finding facts. And I said, well, you dumb, because the facts are all over the place. If you look at the way lawyers are fired, Mark Agnifilio is lead counsel. Diddy hired a new trial attorney to be lead counsel, Mr. Rico, a black man. And then he also, so he knows this is going to court. And he also hired a new lawyer, Miss Shapiro, no relation to Robert, but Miss Shapiro, to do his bail. Diddy's lawyer, Mark Agnifilio, has not been given a public pink slip. However, he has been removed from everything. What do you call it when somebody comes into your job, right? What do you call it when somebody comes into your job? Your job they're now doing, and everything you're working on, you're not. And they tell you to go quietly sit in the corner. You don't look at that as like you're fired. Again, with legal stuff, what happens is, especially when it's high profile, you can't just say, oh my God, they're fired, and make a public announcement out of it, because there's reputations to consider. There's reputations to be considered. On top of that, it could look very bad for either the lawyer or the client. The way they do that is you bring in new counsel. The counsel takes over every MFing thing you were doing. You are quietly sidelined, and then you make your exit out a month or two later. Look at Bobby Sternum. Look at Sean Hawley. Where are they? Are they still Diddy's lawyers? Are they? Remember when I said, yo, they've been fired, and now we got Garagos, this third. Everybody said I was a liar. Ask Sean Hawley, she's still on the case. Are they? Ask Barbara Sternum. Are they still on the case? Because the lawyers on the cases are the ones that file your paperwork. Mark Agnifilio is nowhere, Agnifilio, whatever his name is, he is nowhere around. When this goes to trial, we'll see if he's sitting at that witness, if he's sitting on the defense side. I guarantee you he's not going to be there. So you know what? I'll take it. I'll take y'all call me a liar, this and that, blah, 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 blah. But in a few months, you know, I will be doing my victory lap saying, told you. But all jokes aside, as much, and I know social media is a lot, but we need to literally give social media a round of applause for not just keeping the story alive, but demanding justice and doing more investigation. Doesn't matter that 80% of what turns up, maybe it doesn't matter. Doing more investigation to get to the bottom of this than any of the major mainstream media outlets, any of them. Leave it to the mainstream. They were saying, oh God, there's no proof he's being indicted. So we can't even say that. When everybody was like, if you do the investigation, there's a grand jury impaneled. There's no proof of that. What happened? The grand jury was impaneled. Diddy's gonna die. There's no proof of that. Where does it say it? Again, I can't teach everybody how to read in between the lines, but I'm just saying they've been betting. If we was in a betting hall, they'd be broke. Anyway, let me read these super chats really quick, and then we're gonna get into the rest of this stuff. where are we at? Lisa, you guys also hit that like subscribe button. It's been an hour and 28 minutes. Hit that like and subscribe button. Turn your notifications on. Y'all already know the deal. It's going to be a heavy live day. As soon as I'm done with this live, I'm going to make another thumbnail, go live again, because so many things are adding up. Lisa Rodriguez says, whenever I watch these lives, first thing I do is hit the like button. Thank you so much, Lisa. Please hit that like button for our girl, Tisa. Monet W said, hey, Tisa, hey. What's up, Monet? Hey, Isis1 said, Tisa, thank you for these updates and continuous coverage. I really hope they get them all top to bottom. Listen, I feel like we're getting our wish. And you know, the funny thing is, I will say this about the Diddy stuff, and then I'll get back to that. But I just got to talk because, you know, we chopping it up. I feel like y'all came over. If y'all were here, I'd offer y'all some ice cream, some cake I just made, or ask if y'all want me to like put some steaks on the grill, right? I believe in feeding people. It makes the gossip more fun. But honestly, we are getting what we asked for. And you know what? As we move into this trial, I also want to say this, and this is something that when justice comes around, I see a lot because it's my job to look at this. You know, some people are tied to their misery. Some people are tied to their pain. Some people, if justice is served and the monsters are put away, what else are they going to talk about? So they need to keep injustice going, because through that injustice going, they get their identity, they get their accolades, they get their attention, and they also get money. Because when an injustice is going, everybody want to hear the details. So what happened? Oh, that everybody wants to hear the details of an injustice. And you looked at it, it's like, yes, I'm a truth teller, I'm this and that. But we need to start looking to how many people actually want to see justice served. I think a lot. But at this time, I've seen it happen time and time again. We need to even people that are just like truth tellers, isn't it? Who's tied to their misery? Who really wants to see this resolved? Because once it's resolved, how are you making your money? How are you supporting yourself? How are you doing this? Think about it. Look at the media, right? Now, I'm not going to get into politics, but whenever somebody is ripping the country apart and acting a fool, right? They're actually doing this because it's all these like dollars and cents and blah, 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 blah. Some people are tied to the misery, and they're tied to that. And that's how their identity, we need to actually look at the people that's just like, no, we want to see a resolution. We want to see a resolution. And I feel like there are people praying there is no resolution so they can keep their income stream. You know, that's another thing. Monica Richardson, thank you so much for the super sticker. You're going to see that in mainstream media too. They are more tied to Diddy being out and the story about him beating the charges than actually making sure that there's justice served and following from the point of justice. They're more concerned with how many album sales or this or that Diddy can get them than actually are the victims going to be protected. Again, it goes for social media, but it goes at the top. People are tied to misery. There is money in keeping people oppressed. There is money in staying in a constant state of struggle and never letting it reach resolution, because once it is resolved and justice is served, people move on. And if all you have to talk about is your misery, right? And that pain and like whatever, well, once it's resolved, people move on. And then what do you have? How are you going to sell your newspapers? How are you going to get your interviews? Keep an eye out on that too when you look at the media. Keep an eye out on that. Monica, thank you so much for the super sticker. Also, Carmen Lowry said, there's no way that the movie Blink Twice, I agree with you, Carmen, is not about Diddy. During Channing Tatum's monologue, he said that there is a special place in hell for people who did nothing to help or stop abuse. How about people that not only did nothing to help or stop, but they protected either abusers or enablers of abusers, talking about, that's my friend. That's my friend. Okay, well, you and your friend can both get it. You and your friend. Oh, I know him. I know his heart. He's a good man. If you don't get out of here before we literally throw this fire and brimstone on you too, I'm just telling you, get out the way. Either get behind me, get beside me, or get run over. The train, that's the thing about the train of justice. We're not stopping for any more of that. We don't take personal feelings or recommendations. If you are friends with and protective of somebody that is either a PDF file, somebody that is a rapist, or someone that is enabling or helping PDF files. And to me, you're just as bad, probably even worse, because you're doing it just for a few dollars. Also, Superior Empath, thank you so much for becoming a member. Kitty Cat Meower said, I think we need a moment to breathe and ground after all of this. I think we do, but I'm actually excited that we're actually getting justice. I'm actually excited that like this resolution is coming quicker than anybody expected. Federal investigations take years. This is going quicker than anybody expected. And baby, and when it's done, we're going to get back to clowning people and laughing because there's always something to talk about. But why not like just be praying that justice finally comes? Hey, Mel Bethel said, hey, thank you for covering this, TT. Mel, thank you always for being so supportive. You don't got to thank me. Y'all know I love doing this. I would be doing this whether there were 5 people watching or, I mean, I hope one day there'll be 500,000 people. But yeah, BRJ said, oh, you guys, thank BRJ. They gifted 5 memberships. Everybody thank BRJ. Also, foods that start with the letter Q. What is a Kinks? Woo, thank you so much for the super sticker. Make sure y'all show love to BRJ, especially if they gifted you a membership. Cookie Smith said, hit the likes, people. Come on from the UK. Evening, Governor. Hello, Cookie. Man, some water. That is my British accent. What's up, Cookie? Christian said, Tisa, there's a video from a pastor warning Diddy to repent from his evil sins, that he saw visions of him everywhere in the news. The video is from 2021. Whoa. 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 You know what the funny thing is? I don't want to say everybody, but there are people that were tapped in that saw this coming. And even this pastor saying, Diddy repent? I believe now from listening to this that I believe now that like Diddy has been running this same play for so long, the gaslight, the lying, the people with their hands out. Get the money. Again, it is never shot. I told y'all this before, but let me just go on the thing. There are so many people that were trying to tell him, yo, repent. He didn't want to because he thought he didn't have to. That's why now, when I see him, oh, Diddy on S-Watch, Diddy's sad. What about Diddy's kids? And don't get me wrong, I don't want the kids to unnecessarily suffer. The sins of the father will not be revisited on the child. I'm not into that, right? So, but my whole point is, oh, Diddy's sad. I don't give a what did he feel? Because baby, the mark of someone and true repenting is what you do when you know that no one's going to stop you except yourself. Of course, if you're sitting in jail, so you sad, you regret murking people, you regret raping people, whatever the crime is, you regret it. Of course, you regret getting caught. You don't regret doing it because when you had the time, energy, and money to pay for the best counselors, the best, and actually stop your reign of terror and repent, you chose not to. You laughed. Repent for what? Order up 12 more 9-year-olds. Repent for what? We having a party. Have another edition. Tell these poor, bright A minors that we're going to make them a star. They just need to come into the special room and show him what that mouth do. That's how sick this man is. Innocence. You know how many generational curses this man made? Generational curses. If you've ever worked with victims of sexual abuse, if you've ever even generational curses, all because he's evil. There's something, it goes beyond something being wrong. And even more evil are the people that watched it, helped it, protected it. Because they wanted what? A Rolex? They wanted a single? They wanted a new Gucci bag? They wanted to what? Walk on the steps of the Met Gala. I'm not talking about Young Miami. I'm being dead serious. Because at the end of the day, it's not just Diddy. There's a bunch of people. There's names we know. There's celebrities. I bet you right now everybody is blowing up that attorney's phone, trying to make settlements with the victims so they can keep their name out. It doesn't matter whether you participate or not. Listen, when we get the name of the people that were watching A minors, baby, we gonna, yeah, the court of public opinion. I don't even want to hear, no, how dare you say that? God doesn't, shut up. I already told y'all we don't worship the same God. My God likes a cheering section. Go. My God likes hallelujah. Jesus, my God likes it when we're cheering them on. Yes. Protect us, keep us safe. My God delights in it. They're like, say I won't. Smites all the evil. He did it. Won't he do it? Yes, he did. But I will say this for the people, and I know I always bring up this analogy. If you're new to my channel, hi, my name is Tisa. I watch way too much child movies. They are my jam. I don't want to see any serial killer, making of a murder, true crime. No, 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 no. Put on that Milan and let that thing go. I was watching the Chronicles of Narnia. I wasn't allowed to watch it or even read it when watch the movie. But to read, sorry, Harry Potter wasn't allowed to watch. Narnia, I got to read the book, right? I didn't really watch the movie, but I read the books, right? And those are like some of the only books I was allowed to read. There's a scene where Edward sells out his whole bloodline, the whole bloodline, for some Turkish delights. And as soon as I got some money, one of the first things I did when I got that passport was, well, when I got my passport, one of the first things I did was go to Turkey because I was going to have some Turkish delights in the motherland. Because when I was a kid, I was like, yo, how good are Turkish delights? How good are Turkish delights that you sold out your whole family for a bite? Now, I would never sell out my family for anything unless they did some weird Diddy stuff. But I said, I got to taste these Turkish delights because this must be the candy to end all the candy. So I got on the plane. And the whole time I'm telling everybody, I went with friends. And they're like, oh, we're going to go to this restaurant. We're going to go to the bazaar. And I'm just like, I'm Googling like, what is the best candy shop in, where were we? Istanbul. What is the best candy shop in Istanbul? What is the best candy shop in Burnham? I was like, yo, I'm trying every Turkish delight. I'm on the thing, they got like 50 flavors. We can do pistachio, we can do orange, we can do this and that. Got off the plane. Everyone's like, oh, do you want to get showered for dinner? I was gone on Google Maps, gone, literally using all my data about looking for that candy store. So I get into the candy store and it looks beautiful. In Turkey, right? They are the masters of presentation. They are and ain't nothing in that country pork. So that's good too. You can have pepperoni, salami, ain't nothing pork, right? Muslim country. They're the masters of presentation. So I walked up in the candy store and I got every flavor of Turkish delight. And they're like, do you just want a small piece? Because they cut it off. And I was like, no, give me I literally spent like $238 in a candy store and walked out. Came to the hotel. We were going to eat this together. We were going to have an experience. I opened that bad boy. I took that first taste. I was like, let's do a classic. Let's do the rose. That's probably what Edward ate. And I had a taste of those Turkish delights. And when I tell you, they were the most mediocre, blah, what the hell? I can't believe. Why would they hype it up? But I say all that to say, I realize now being older, and I see it so much, that was an allegory for the way people will sell their soul for nothing. The way Edward sold for Turkish delights. When I took Turkish delights, I'm like, this is what you sold out your whole family for? The same with these enablers for Diddy. This is what you sold yourself out for? A Rolex, a couple of dollars, a record contract? Maybe, please, I'll look into it. That's what you sold out innocent victims, minors. That's what you did this for? Again, everybody around Diddy literally casts their souls to hell. And if you don't believe in hell, this is not a religious thing. They cast their souls to prison then. All for some mediocre Turkish delights. I realize it's an allegory for how people will do the most disgusting things for just mediocrity. I know people sell their souls, but I thought when somebody sold their souls, if you ask how much my soul's worth, baby, the world will be renamed, and the universe, the known and unknown universe, will be named New Tisadom. And this will be Tisa Earth One. The known universe will be named after me, and I will own it. Because how much is my soul worth? It's too much. And I want heaven. Literally. And I want access to send people to hell. And I want superpowers. And you ask me how much my soul is worth? Oh, baby. They say everybody got a price. Babe, let's sit down and talk. There's literally the devil will be like, girl, stop. Your soul ain't worth all that. I want the known universe. I want all the power in the world. I want to be able to fly. I want this. I want to be able to sit, and I want to own heaven. I want to control who gets sent to hell. I want all of it. And when you think that there are literally people selling out their soul for a new pair of Nikes, a Rolex. It boggles my mind. But let's keep going. Wicked, North Carolina said, this is so heartbreaking. So many victims let down. 60% reported to the police or hospital. Victims as young as 9 years old. It's beyond sad. Synergy 7 said, Tisa, have you heard of Diddy's victim named Allie Carter? She's been speaking and what Diddy did to her for years. She said Diddy called her and their kids party favors. Wow. I literally used to always say you're using people's bodies like party favor. I would actually love to talk to her. I'm going to try to reach out to her and see if she'll come on here and actually share her story. Charmaine Stevens said, thank you, Tisa, for all your hard work, keeping us up with the latest tea. Keep up the good work. Thank you so much, Charmaine. I appreciate that. Angeline Alexander said, I'm so happy people are finally waking up. I am. And it's getting to the point where people got to pick a side. You can't stay quiet. You can't stay quiet. If your friend is being accused with evidence, a diddling with an A minor, I'm not trying to make light of it. I'm just, it's YouTube, baby. You know how it works. There's certain things you can't stay quiet. You cannot stay quiet. It is a reckoning. And now the people that are staying quiet, they're the ones looking weird. Anyway, live from NYC said, if Diddy ends up like Maxwell, oh well, I just hope all the truth comes out before that happens. Listen, live from New York City, I will say this. I want Diddy to be present and around for everything that's going to happen. And what's more, because again, I want the people that enabled him to pay just as much, because they are the ones that kept the system going. They are the ones that did all that. That's what I want. And I'm sure we want the same thing. So high five. Teamwork makes the dream work. Coco 162010. I'm sorry, it's Coco 16 2010. What's up, girl? Said, I remember that girl that sang Promise Ring, interviewed for Diddy as a kid and sang and played piano, but for some reason it didn't work out. I wonder why. I think we all know why. And every artist that was signed to Diddy, we now need to look like, what did you go through? I'm surprised. All the making of the bands, Danny Kane, Day 26, everyone. I'm surprised they haven't actually come out and sued. I think they all need to link up and do it. We see. I'm sure Attorney Blackburn, Buzbee, Victor, I'm sure all of them are still taking cases. I will say the people that got him first are going to be paid the earliest, but everybody is going to be able to make this man pay. United People said Stanley Kubrick's Eyes Wide Shut is looking more like a documentary. Yo. And did and do. Shout out to Cardi B. Her and did. Yo, leaving Offset was the best thing that she could have ever done. I'm sorry she had to go through it, because they were a beautiful family, made pretty kids. But at the end of the day, I think she is about to have a renaissance and really revive her career now that she's not experiencing narcissistic abuse anymore. Riot Wrestling Alliance, thank you so much for the super chat. And Riot Wrestling Alliance, thank you for becoming the newest member of the Tattletales. Facing Truth said, let's talk about Judge Coate, who filed the sanction on Tyrone Blackburn. I hope she is exposed. Now we see who filed frivolous claims. Let me tell you something about that really quick, and then we're going to get back into these claims, all right? That Judge Coates, here's the thing that makes me mad. What she did to Attorney Blackburn was disgusting. I'm going to actually tell y'all what, because y'all know I research everything. But the fact that there were people that were supposed to be media reporters, court reporters, that were supposed to know the legal system, that not only saw, I believe, what was going on, but they twisted it to make it look like this judge. So there was I pulled up the docs, because you know me, when I hear something, I did a live about it actually, because I was like, this is y'all know me, injustice. I have something to say. So Attorney Blackburn was in court with a woman who, she was also an attorney, but she had lied or did something, right? Very, very improper. And there was something about what she was saying or doing, I'm not going to get into all the facts, came across as racist. Okay. I am Black. When a Black person says that there is racism, I believe it. Racism is like when you smell something burning You could be in the same room with people and they're like, I don't smell anything. That doesn't mean there's not a fire outside the door. It just means you don't smell anything, right? So anyway, he accused her of, she accused him of something. And he was like, Your Honor, first of all, you are a liar. You were caught lying. And second of all, you are racist. Like, Your Honor, do you hear this? The judge chose to ignore all that with the woman and sanction him. But guess what for? Not for anything that happened in her court. This judge, off her own merit, went and reviewed all of Attorney Blackburn's cases that he had with other judges that he had won, that the judges had no problem with them. She read the complaints and she decided that Tony Blackburn writes salacious complaints to get media to blackmail clients. And she decided to refer him not even to the correct board to do something, but to refer him to some like legal thing for them to investigate him doing it. Do you understand that judges do not, the judge went and saw cases he did in front of other judges and other lawyers where they didn't have a problem with the way he wrote his complaints. And also, you're a judge. I can write my complaint any way I want. That's none of your business. You decided that in different cases that had nothing to do with you and that nobody had a problem with them, you decided to say, you're this, you're that, you're this, and issue that. And then everybody in the media went and ran with it. Oh my God, the judge said he does this. The judge says he does that. Nobody actually said the judge had no right to speak on other cases that they didn't even have a problem with. And then the judge issued that. So when it happened, the media was like, oh my God, he just got sanctioned. He did not. He didn't do anything. She didn't even really refer him. She only did it, it seems like, so there could be at least from my point of view, I don't know what was in her head, but I'm telling you what it looks like. Go do your own research. I believe that she only did it because she wanted to mess him up. She wanted to give something the news media that could literally F him up and hurt his credibility, because she wanted to shut him down because he demanded that she sanction that lawyer for her racist stuff and for lying, the lawyer that was on trial. She was on trial for basically, I think, taking money or something. He demanded that. And the fact that the media ran with it and the people that know how the courts go ran with that and didn't bother to actually explain what was going on and let that judge get that one off, which it is incredible to me. That is like you being written up at work because your supervisor called your last 5 jobs and asked around to see what happened at the last 5 jobs. And they decided from looking at the last 5 jobs that you deserve to be suspended at this job for stuff that happened in the last 5 jobs. Matter of fact, all your last 5 employers were like, they were great. We don't have any problem with them. It was crazy. Tanny Landragon, thank you so much for the super chat. We're going to get into these accusations in a second. Riot Wrestling Show. Again, if I didn't thank you, I want to thank you. Tammy said, I'm reading The United States of Blackmail by Whitney Webb that was written to explain how Jeffrey Epstein was allowed to operate unabated. Diddy is connected to this, and they're only telling half the story. Listen, everything's about to come out. Hibiscus Rose said, Tisa, you're relentless, and I believe you made a difference. Oh, thank you. Diddy did it. This is some sick-ish. I want to know who helped him participate. I know that's right. Carmen Lowry says the Sugar Baby interview to Nia on the soft white underbelly mentioned almost getting trafficking at Diddy's house. Oh, I'm gonna have to watch that. Thank you. I'm gonna have to watch that. Thank you for that. I take notes at live. Y'all be putting me down and stuff. Riot Wrestling said, I'm beyond sick with all this coming out. I know that's right. Auntie Penelope said, no messages, just prayers for the social justice, accountability, no more hiding, for healing, drain that swamp. I know that's right, Auntie Penelope. United People say every Epstein has a Giselle. Who's Diddy? I mean, if you listen to Little Rod's lawsuit, and probably with the U.S. attorney, I'm guessing it's his personal assistant, KK. I'm guessing this is personal assistant KK. If you read Little Rod's lawsuit, I actually might repost the live where I read everything Little Rod claimed in his lawsuit, just to refresh everybody's memory. I'm guessing KK is his just slaying, right? Tiger Tall Tree said, damn, Shorty, you were built for this. Thank you. Thank you, Tiger Tall Tree. Listen, Chronicles of Narnia, it enacted. Once I saw that allegory about the Turkish delights, I said, oh, it taught me so much about life. Maisha Osi, thank you so much for the super chat. Hibiscus Rose, thank you so much for becoming a member. Trina Barker became a YouTube member. What's up, Trina? Also, Kimmy K said, Tisa, love you, girl. Let's also not let Vince McMahon off the hook as this case is going unnoticed because of all the Diddy drama. Stay on their necks. You know what? My plate is a little bit full, but we're going to do something about Vince McMahon, okay? I think I might actually do like maybe a 30-minute video where I bring all the evidence to bring it to the forefront so we can start a conversation. Listen, I do all this on my own, all right? So time is limited, but I promise you, I'm going to put some light on that too. Maisha Osi said, where are the migrants bused from Texas and Florida? Oh, you said, yeah, were they busted from Texas and Florida? Were they? That's a good question. That would be why they would be afraid to speak up, because who wants to be deported after you've been defiled? You know what I'm saying? Mind yours. Thank you so much for the super sticker. Tracy Johnson, thank you so much for becoming a member. Alaquandra, what's up, Miss Glover? Said, hi, Tisa. I'm glad to be back for these live streams. Hurricane Helene. Oh, really? Hurricane Helene has us without power, praying for those who are without it, justice for the victims. Shout out to everyone that has suffered in Hurricane Helene. Shout out to everybody for Hurricane Helene. We'll do a story on that to shine light on that too. I guess it's a city, so there's not really a GoFundMe, but you get it. And I'm glad you and your loved ones are safe, Alaquandria. Fentomos Fanto, and welcome back, said, how many artists do you think knew but did nada? I think so many people knew and did nada. But the thing is, we're going to find out the people that were in the room that didn't do nada, but like a sick voyeuristic show, just watch, like disgusting psychopaths. Monica Richardson said, remember the movie Accused with Jodie Foster? They convicted the cheering section. We're about to lose love for loved icons. They should go down. Exactly. Let me tell you something. Like Kendrick said, ain't no accent you can sell me. Ain't no there is not a beat, a movie, a look, because I like people's makeup looks. There is that, vacation time, I'd be like trying to be a peacock with my makeup looks. There is nothing that anybody has ever given me of entertainment. There is nothing even somebody could give me such as life that would make me look the other way for crap like this. There's just nothing in this world. I'm waiting to actually see who's actually tied to the misery and actually really wants this actually tied up. Or there are people that are going to be like, they ain't never going to take them down. Let me tell you something. The powers that be are still hiding, baby. Anyway, getting it together with Drea said, God will not be mocked. He will not be mocked. God will not be mocked. Riot Wrestling Alliance said, not only as a father, as a man, but as a human, this is purely disgusting. They all need to be exposed. Riot Wrestling Alliance, every single man and woman that participated, watched, stayed silent. If we can't bring criminal charges against them, sue them in civil court. And if they can't be sued in civil court, we will name them and shame them. Everybody that had a role in this, everybody. The statute of limitations don't count on social media. Everyone that is proven to have a role with this will be named and shamed. Also, Rachel Jones, thank you for being a member for a month, said, hey, Tisa, the shower power is all Jay and Diddy. Jay moves silently like Ghost. Diddy does the most so loud. Tommy Mottola. Let me tell you something. I'm so loud, Tommy. I get what you're saying, and I do agree with you. Jay-Z does move in silence, but I don't think Jay-Z is the real power. When I talk about power, I'm talking about people that influence economies, people that get legislation passed, people that have the police under their thumb. That to me is power, not someone that is maybe like the lackey to a billionaire and they like, oh, let me get you, you know how Kendrick said, bees can have somebody that got bees can be somebody's bee. My idea of real power, where it is hard to take them down, is when you run so much that the whole system is protecting you. Entertainers, actors, singers, they don't care. They don't care. Also, spiritual sacrifices said, let's hope Buzbee meant victims were referred to HSI and not the FBI. The FBI allegedly protected Sean as a confidential informant since 1999. You are correct, spiritual sacrifices. I'll tell you one thing. The U.S. Attorney's Office, I got dragged for reposting something that said Diddy, when I was like, y'all remember Diddy was hiding out in London in December, right? The U.S. Attorney's lead investigator and the best of the team flew over there to interview witnesses. I bet, listen, just like we are, they are keeping their ears to the street. Now that he's done that live stream and put that out there, please believe Homeland Security is probably hop, skipping, and jumping, saying, let me see what you got. Let me get these names. Let me do this. Let me do that. Let me see what you got. You know, Christian said, the day Bieber breaks his silence, it's over for Hollywood. Rumor has it he was invited to SA and rugged up close to unalive an 8-year-old. That was his breaking point. Yo, that is really, really dark. And you know, so crazy. 3 years ago, I would have rolled my eyes at this. Now, yo, anything is possible with these monsters. Anything. Facing Truth said, T said, yes, Allie Carter has been saying this for years. She said Diddy, Birdman, and many, many others made her and other minors sit at a table and even made them have relations with oh my God. Yeah, I want to talk to Allie Carter. Miss Jacket Trade said, TT, what about Lori Ann Gibson? And remember he said at the BET Awards, yo, and I want to give a shout out to Lori Ann Gibson for keeping me free. The same thing where he harassed Cassie saying, yeah, Cassie, love. He said, and I want to thank, he said, Bishop T.D. Jakes, blah, blah, and Lori Ann Gibson, I want to thank you for keeping me free. Did Lori Ann Gibson see something between Cassie and Diddy? Did she witness something at the parties? Why is he thanking her for keeping him free? I'm just saying, I wonder if Lori Ann Gibson is cooperating with the feds. Also, Miss who is this? Sharon Lee, strength at the table, said, Tisa, keep up the good work, bringing P. Diddy tea, bittersweet, raw and uncut, no sugar, no honey, just real tea. I know that's right. Thank you so much. So where are we at, right? Let's just do a recap. The FBI has interviewed 25 out of the 120 witnesses. I'm sure Homeland Security saw the same interview we did, and they are going over to the Buzbee law firm being like, subpoena, the federal government is taking this mess. We need to talk. Listen, you guys, this mess is crazy. I want to thank everybody that joined Fort Live. Listen, subscribe if you can. Y'all know I'm trying to grow. Also, turn on your notifications. Let me just get some stuff. I'm going to go live in probably like another 30 minutes. Turn your notifications on. I'm going to be going live all night. All right. We are going live all night. Anyway, you guys, also, I'm going to chop this video up so you have the part about the 9-year-old and stuff up front. And then we are going to, I'll be back in 30 minutes and we are going to, because there's more information coming out and I want to see Diddy's attorney's reactions and also TMZ's reactions, okay? Shout out to anybody that has experienced anything close to what these victims are saying. Justice is coming. And once we actually break the silence and the shame and the greed and corruption and the sickness that is not only helping these people, but protecting them, we are really going to see a real change. Again, change doesn't come fast, but it always comes. Anyway, y'all, turn your notifications on. I'll see y'all back on live in about a half hour. I'm gonna go put my ear to the street. I'll see y'all soon. Okay. Bye.